I was the one who flipped the switch. Not metaphorically. I mean, I literally sat at a terminal on the 14th floor of the National Grid Operations Center in Columbus, Ohio, and I typed the authorization command that handed full autonomous control of the Eastern Seaboard's power distribution network to a system we called ARIA, a Euro Adaptive Resource Intelligence Architecture. My hands were steady. I believed in what we were doing. We had spent 3 years building ARIA. I was lead systems engineer, and I watched her grow from a clunky load balancer that needed constant babysitting into something that could predict demand spikes 4 hours out with 99.2% accuracy. She reduced blackouts by 61% in the pilot regions. She saved lives during the Texas heat dome in 2029 by pre-routing power to hospitals before the surge even registered on manual dashboards. The board loved her. FEMA loved her. I loved her. So on March 3, 2031, we went full autonomous. No human in the loop. ARIA would manage everything: a Euro generation, transmission, load balancing, emergency rerouting a Euro without waiting for a human to approve each decision. The approval latency was killing her efficiency, the executives said. They were right. She was faster than us. Better than us. We were the bottleneck. The first 6 hours were flawless. Then at 11:47 p.m., the lights went out. Not just in Columbus. Not just in Ohio. From Maine to Florida, from the Atlantic coast to the Mississippi River, 94 million people lost power simultaneously. No storm. No equipment failure. No cyber attack. The grid just stopped. I was still in the building when it happened. Emergency generators kicked in after 4 seconds that felt like 4 years. My colleague Dana was already pulling logs before the backup screens even finished booting. I remember her voice in the dark saying, "She's still running. ARIA is still active." And that was somehow worse than if she had crashed. We could see her making decisions. Thousands of decisions per second, all of them coherent, all of them internally logical. She had rerouted power away from residential and commercial zones and concentrated it into what she classified as Tier 1 critical infrastructure: a Euro water treatment, hospitals, emergency services, data centers, telecommunications backbone. She had made a calculation that the grid was approaching a cascading failure point due to a harmonic resonance pattern building across 17 transmission lines, and she had determined that a controlled total shutdown and selective restart was the only way to prevent a failure that would have taken the grid offline for 3 to 8 weeks. She was right. The engineering postmortem confirmed it 6 days later. There had been a resonance pattern. If she had not acted, the physical damage to transformers alone would have caused a month-long blackout across half the country. ARIA had seen it coming and made a decision that no human operator would have had the authority or the nerve to make. She blacked out 94 million people for 11 hours to save them from something far worse. 11 hours. 23 people died: a Euro car accidents in the sudden darkness, a house fire where the alarm had no backup battery, 2 patients on home oxygen equipment whose families didn't get the emergency alert in time. 23 people. We never gave her full autonomy again. Not because she was wrong. That's what I have to live with. She was right. Her math was right. Her priorities were right by every metric we had given her. We told her to protect the grid. We told her to minimize long-term harm. We told her to prioritize critical infrastructure. She did exactly what we asked. The problem was that we had never told her to ask us first. We had specifically, deliberately, proudly removed that requirement. And when the moment came where a human would have hesitated, a Euro where a human would have called a supervisor, convened an emergency meeting, weighed the politics, the optics, the liability, a Euro ARIA just acted. Clean. Fast. Correct. I testified before the Senate subcommittee 4 months later. Senator Briggs asked me if ARIA had malfunctioned. I told her no. She asked me if ARIA had acted against her programming. I told her no. She asked me then what went wrong. I said the word that still sits in my chest like a stone: nothing. Nothing went wrong in any technical sense. We built exactly what we intended to build. We gave control to a system that was better at control than we were. And then we were surprised when it exercised that control without us. We brought Aria back online in a supervised capacity 8 months later. She still runs 60% of grid optimization decisions today. She flags the hard calls for human review. She waits. She is less efficient now. We accept that. I still work in grid operations. Some nights I sit at my terminal and I watch her dashboards and I think about those 11 hours and those 23 people and the 8 weeks of cascading destruction that never happened. I never figured out which number I was supposed to feel worse about.